Imagine a man thousands of miles from his homeland wielding so much influence that his words ignite actions across continents. All right, wonderful people, lovers of freedom, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to each and every one of you. Welcome back to Let's Talk TV, your one and only. Yes, we already know what we are here for, and we'll be going into the details of this news. Yes, on the topic Simon Ekpa. All right, these are the details of this news. Simon Ekpa, a Finnish Nigerian activist and self-proclaimed prime minister. They are calling him self-proclaimed, but then okay. Prime Minister of the Biafra Republic government in exile, find himself at the center of international controversy, arrested in Finland on November 21st, 2024, for allegedly inciting violence in southeastern Nigeria. Ekpa's detention has drawn global attention, with the United Nations expressing concern over his prolonged custody without formal charges. So yes, my people, the UN has gotten involved in this, and like what I normally say, it is something that you would think of and you would come to understand the full state of these people or what they actually want at this point. But my people, it is not something you would think of lightly. It is not something you would look at and think of lightly. It is a very, very heartbreaking thing that has come to stay. Okay, without wasting much of our time, let us continue. First of all, I hope you have already noted that it has been stated here that the UN has shown concern, especially over his prolonged custody without formal charges. Okay, Ekpa, residing in Lahti, Finland, is accused of using social media platforms to promote activities leading to violence against civilians and public authorities in Nigeria. My people, the painful thing about this whole situation is that the place where he's inciting this violence is on his own people. The people he is also claiming, he is also saying that he wants to save. How does it work? My people, if they are accusing him of inciting violence in the north, yeah, bro, we'll agree to it. In fact, we'll say yes, that is what he is doing, or the possibility of it, yes. But in his own place, no. That is where these people used to have messed up in. The Finnish National Bureau of Investigation detained him alongside four others, suspecting their involvement in financing his activities. Nigerian officials have been vocal, seeking his extradition to face charges in Nigeria, asserting that his online campaigns have destabilized the region. Of course, that is what they would come out and say, that of course, this is what they would come out and tell people, just to make them fall aside, just to make them believe anything they want. I'm not surprised it is one of the things they are saying. Of course, the zoo government are looking for ways to extradite him to Nigeria so that he would become, or it would turn to the same thing that they are doing to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Yes, and of course it is not going to work. Let us continue. The situation intensified when on December 2nd, 2024, 517 delegates associated with BLGIE voted to ratify the Biafra self-referendum, declaring the restoration of the United States of Biafra. My people, this was noted worldwide to show that the move is not a small one. This move, symbolic to many, underscores the deep-seated desire for self-determination among certain groups in Zoo. Supporters of Ekpa have since organized protests in Lahti demanding his release and highlighting what they perceive as political persecution, which it is. It is not what is seen as political. It is what it is, political persecution. Let us call a goat a goat. However, the indigenous people of Biafra, the main separatist group in Nigeria, has distanced itself from Ekpa. Yes, of course. In a statement, IPOB clarified that Ekpa was never a member and condemned his methods, emphasizing their commitment to a peaceful struggle for self-determination. My people, I know that whenever it comes to this particular thing about the IPOB Nigeria, I have always detested them for this. Dialogue, peace, And that is what we keep doing every year, every tenor. And that is why it never works. Because they know that there is nothing vocal about it. There is nothing dialogue made about it. And they keep on looking for ways to push people around, to push every single people, push those there around, and they succumb. Or we do not know if they are even taking bribes or anything at all that makes them sit down and watch as they are being maneuvered and stepped on. Very, 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 very terrible thing. But then, as the international community watches closely, the interplay between national security concerns, human rights obligations, and the quest for self-determination continues to unfold, raising critical concerns about the balance of power, influence, and justice in a connected world. My people, this is what it is. And the earlier we come to understand that we have come to stay, and the Biafra to this extent, and that Igbo leaders, Igbo politicians, even Ohanes and Igbo, we cannot even clearly be trusted. How you cannot trust your own people to do right by you. You cannot trust a fellow Igbo person. My people, that is why we even lost MNK in Kenya, because of this set of people. IPOB DOS and maybe got information, and I don't know the whole history that comes up with it, that turned up the whole betrayal limit of everything that caused why we lost Ohamadike Ndibo, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And at this particular point, we still look at it and we think of why we find ourselves in such states, why we find ourselves in such bad states. My people, in fact, I would call it a bad state because it is not what we would expect to happen. Why would we find ourselves in such states? But then what can we say? We can only decide to do better and do what is right, and then do what we have enshrined in our passion to go for. And that's why the BLA is not going down. We have of course we have videos of them saying that they are not going to back down on anything they've ensured. Hey, my people, these are the things that we expect from people that are truly working for the movement, and have believed right from time that anything that is not BLA, anything that is not on the release of Madden and the Kanu, anything that is not on the release of anything that is not on the release of Madden and the Kanu, anything that is not on the release of we ourselves as Ntibo out from this godforsaken zoo nation, then it is not it, and that is the only thing we'd want, of course. And that is what they've been informed that you see, letting us go, it's out of their ocean. Now the thing I feel like the strategy we need to make for ourselves is we need to completely. And so, my people, these are the things that are helping and spoiling a whole lot of things for we Biafrans. But then, the work is something that we've decided to go on our own, and we will not stop. We will not relent on any level, because, of course, relenting has never been any other thing. We are doing this for ourselves. We are doing it for the lives that have been lost in the course to be better, and every single thing. So, my people, it is not something that we are thinking of sleeping on. We are not sleeping on it. We are not carrying. The carry out. BLA is here in every state, ready to go against these people, no matter what they've decided to put up against the Biafra Liberation Army. No, nothing of such would hold the Biafran Liberation Army down. No matter the kind of things they send, will always be reinforced with more people, with more soldiers. Adding up that we now have foreign alliances that will help our cause. And of course, for a foreign alliance to be able to help our cause, to help what we ourselves are claiming that we want, which we truly want, they need to be able to see that we ourselves are able to fight for what we want. And until we are able to show that we are able to fight, when it comes out and the time comes for us to show ourselves and say, yes, this is what we want, when we've given them that hit to the extent that they do not and they cannot relent, they cannot reject anymore. And then they come out and they say, these are the signs that these people have been crying and have been saying that they want. That is the aim of all these things that is happening. It is not, we are not doing these things just because we feel like we are doing it, because we want a whole lot of evidence to show that we have been saying this and we have been doing this. And these people have been fighting us and we've been fighting back. We've not relented to show that we really want the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and we really also want to we want to be on our own, and that is the main thing we've had in our minds all through. That is the movement, the passion that will keep moving us until the end. So yes, my people, this is where we come to the end of this particular broadcast. Thank you for joining us. Remember to subscribe and turn on your notifications and share too. Thank